on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. This morning, I welcome you all to join us live here in Portmore in Scarborough, Tobago. Welcome to our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on Amplia. All right, so before we get into it, I know you are very much ready to see your favorite youth host this morning. We'll have our news in 90 seconds. Here is your news in 90 seconds, so Wednesday, 9th April 2025. In a major setback, the United States has revoked Trinidad and Tobago's license to monetize gas from the Dragon and Cuquina Manakín fields with Venezuela. Prime Minister Stuart Young announced the decision at a sudden press conference, citing OFAC's reversal. While the revocation stalls payments to Venezuela, Young pledged continue negotiations and engineering work with a wind-down period until May 27th. He emphasized Trinidad and Tobago's broader energy activity and future gas prospects like Manatee. Young remains hopeful, citing United States assurances that Trinidad and Tobago won't be harmed, and committed to pursuing alternative strategies for the country's energy future. Digicel has removed its $3 over-the-counter payment fee effective immediately. The fee, introduced in December 2022, had faced backlash from customers. Now, CEO Peter Verkade said the move reflects Digicel's renewed focus on customer satisfaction and a commitment to improving service. He acknowledged the fee as a major pain point and emphasized the company's intention to listen and respond to customers' feedback. Digicel also hinted at more changes ahead, aiming to rekindle the strong connection it established with Trinidad and Tobago customers when it first launched in 2006. And that was your news in 90 seconds. So, of course, I'm going to just reintroduce myself because now I'm joined with one of your favorite youth hosts for the morning. I am Natalia Nancis. I will be one of your youth hosts for this morning, and joined with me is
Dwayne Nurse. Good morning and happy Wednesday to you. Smack center in the middle of the week, of course, and we're here, of course, to bring you the youthful vibe. Now, there's a lot of development happening in the global space, in the local space, and the regional space. Let me deal with the most international of them, which is the tariffs that's been slapped on left, right, and center.
And the percentages are pretty high in my opinion.
My take on it is that this is a medieval way of building one's economy, right? I understand the intent behind what President Trump is trying to do, but I think there's a lot of negating of the rippling effects, not just for the wider world and for those who might have to pay the tariffs, but the consumer, right? The global consumer. And I believe that if this ensues and if this continues, that America will just have to fall. They will take the fall. Right?
I'm looking at that comment you just made, because I'm seeing China retaliating to the whole tariff thing, and now everybody's questioning what the wider world will do. Right? Because I mean, it's one thing to invoke tariffs on other countries, but what would be the retaliation from the other countries? Yeah, and America has based, a lot of it it's revenue on imports and these type of things. So we're looking at a country that decided to pull out its imports on something that America really needs. These are things that a lot of people have been conversing about in terms of President Trump making these types of moves, I would say, right? So very interested to see what the wider world will do in terms of these tariffs, including Trinidad and Tobago, actually.
And the Dragon deal, I believe, is suffering from this whole thing because I believe now we live in a time where people are more liberal.
Yeah.
Countries are more liberal. No longer will a smaller country will, you know, succumb to the whims and fancies of a larger metropolitan country like the United States and even any other territory. It's not specific to the United States. But we also live in an era where we need each other.
Yes.
Right? We have as a global citizenry, you know, there's years and years of multilateral relationships that can be, you know, burned, you know, and decimated just by these wars, you know. But we look on. We do look on. It also means that I may not be able to purchase my iPhone in September because it might triple the cost,
right?
You know, because what we are not taking note of is that, you know, all these raw materials, all these manufacturing countries, right, are based in other countries to drive down the cost of production, right? Because cheap labor is a factor of production, you know. But
I'm also looking at it being a period where Trinidad and Tobago could actually focus on bringing back its major income in exports, because I know a lot of people would mention, you know, Trinidad and Tobago used to be this major country that would export a lot of material, and now not so much.
I think emphasis must be placed now more than ever. And I listened to Prime Minister Mia Mottley last evening, you know, speaking in a capacity of chairman of the CARICOM, and so on. You know, we must buy local. We must go back to a place where we produce a lot of what we eat.
Yes.
And then we can look for other markets.
No,
and
but
then,
also on our side, local needs to bring up to standard their produce.
Yes.
Because a lot of people complain, and I keep making emphasis on a lot of people, not a personal opinion, but an opinion that you would hear on the outside. I want to buy local, but local is not offering what I want. So it's a thing where both sides have to take effect in what they do, in that we need to move to buy more local, and local needs to move to make their products better.
Yeah. You know, but there's also flip side to that, and I'll end on this note, in that, you know, the globalization has somewhat changed our palette, right, to what is acceptable and what is good. Right, and you know, long time you climb a mango tree and you pick a mango and you see a bird pick. You come down, you cut out the bird pick and you eat your mango. Well, no, that can't happen now, right? You know, but so we must return to some of those ideals while maintaining, you know, sanitation and proper and healthy, sustainable foods.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree.
We have elections just in about a couple of weeks.
I think that's the biggest topic going on right now.
We have a lot going on in this space politically, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, people have to do what they have to do. Pay attention to what the trends are, and you know, you make your decision accordingly. Yes. Right. But we're gonna go straight over to our birthdays this morning.
Yes.
We are in the first week. We're wrapping up the first week of April. And we have celebrating her birthday this morning, Miss Natalyn Kwashi. Good morning and happy birthday. She have a familiar face, man.
She does, but I think we're familiar with beauty, and that is what we're seeing on that. So happy birthday to you, Natalyn.
And who do we have next?
Last but not least, she's the last birthday for this morning. That is Miss Christiana Richardson, aka Auntie Gracelyn. So a happy birthday to you, Auntie Gracelyn.
Yes, she looks quite graceful there, you know,
yes,
that
of course.
Elegant smile and, you know, her calm and cool, collected demeanor.
Of
you know,
course.
Happy birthday goes out to you, Mumsy. And I hope they bring you all the cake and ice cream and all the gifts and, you know, in celebrating your birthday. That's it for our birthday greetings this morning. And those of you who did not make it on our birthday list this morning, we want to still wish you a happy birthday. You know, it's a blessing to be born. You know, albeit the times are quite ardent. Or arduous, sorry. You know, we are resilient people, and we just want to wish you a happy birthday, and it's a blessing to be alive in this time, right? We want to go straight over to our rundown this morning, Miss Nancy.
I think the viewers are very excited for what we have in store for them this morning. And when I saw the first name on the rundown, I said, well, it's nice to see her in a different sphere. A lot of us know Lavion Cupid right? But she'll be our first interview this morning. Dwayne will be carrying you through that interview. She'll be taking us through Easter Explorers Camp. I'm guessing that's a camp that she'll have for the Easter. She'll tell you a little bit more about that. She is the camp coordinator.
Yeah. Oh, and we have another big name in this space on this rundown as well. Ecliffe Eli. Do you know Ecliffe Eli?
Of course, everybody knows Ecliffe Eli. Yeah. I think every man should or would have a suit of his in their closet.
Young people, I encourage you to get a suit. Young men, get a suit, get a black, get a navy blue. And what color?
I think
a tan.
You're talking about the video that Steve Harvey
of course,
had.
yes. You must get the basics of the basics, man. Right? So he's going to be talking to us about Tobago Fashion Coda 7 this morning. And who do we have last but not least? Miss Kimberly Quashie, facilitator for Manners for Minors. You know, when I looked at the information that was sent on this, I was very interested to know what exactly this is about. So viewers, all you can do is share the live, share the live, share the live. Stay tuned.
You've heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Park Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want.
Samuel Maydess.
You'll be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger.
Give blood of Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune and many more.
From my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Shore Park Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago Fashion Coda is back with a bang, bringing with its quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, guys, to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're bringing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago this morning, and I am your favorite youth host, joined with Miss Nancy, and we have just a bit of a technical difficulty in terms of our guest this morning. However, we want to talk or discuss rather, what we've been talking before we took the break. I worry as to where the world is trending right now. Okay. I made a joke with one of the producers here, indicating that he will not be able to buy his iPhone in September, because when tariffs are incurred on commodities, it's passed on to the consumer. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you heard about eggs in the US being $16 a crate.
16 US?
16 US.
How much do we pay per crate down here?
About 32.
32?
32.
Not 24?
Depending on where you buy them.
36 I'm hearing in the background.
You understand?
Yeah, okay.
I think 36 is the highest. But divided by 7.
That is not giving you much as 16 by 7.
Yeah.
7 6 over 42.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And 7 and 4 so that's $112 per crate of egg.
So if this is not signaling to us that we should do something, I mean, we can't impose retaliatory tariffs on the United States. It will do nothing but disaster for our economy. Yeah. Right? Again, we also saw the Dragon deal being at jeopardy, the license being revoked. Yeah. And I don't want us to take this thing lightly because this augurs well for the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, right? Although I have some pet peeves when it comes to the Tobago economy. However, this is something for the country, right? And I see Prime Minister Stuart Young is indicating that he would want to have more talks with the Secretary of State. But to me, I at this point, I don't know what more conversations will do, because especially they had some conversations just a couple of weeks ago, and it coming out from it, he said that it was fruitful and so on. But I worry that at this point the United States may be pressing forward with their policies and just to appease their electorate and so on. But I hope that the conversations does happen.
I think there are a lot of contingency plans that Trinidad and Tobago has to now put in place. Yeah. Because, I mean, the US is moving forward with their policies. What do we do now in response to these policies? Because you're looking at major shifts in our economy itself because of the tariffs that the US would have put on us, right? So what do we do now? What is now our I don't want to say clap back, but what is our clap back?
Yeah.
What do we do? And then you mentioned earlier the things that we should do locally as a community, as a country on a whole. What things should we focus on? I remember this conversation we were having about the fruits that we import. Fruits that we have gotten very comfortable with that we don't realize isn't being grown locally.
Yes.
What do we do now about those fruits? Do we have to now groom our new generation to now appreciate things like shaddock and grapefruit and these type of things?
Certainly.
Yeah, so it's a lot that we have to think about in terms of that shift, and the US's, you know, give me the word, Dwayne. The US's,
you know, trending.
Putting the tariffs on us.
Imposing them, right?
Yes, imposing those tariffs.
Yes.
Thank you for that word.
Yes.
At that very late hour.
All right.
Yeah, but we do have a lot to think about as a country, as a community, locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. Right, so our first guest has arrived. So we'll just take a break. And before we do, Dwayne and I will just encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms and soulful music as the sun dips behind Buku Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Coda, Brian McKnight,
It's undeniable that we should be together.
Bonnet Bigford,
When the lightning cracker the waters and the waves roll and break.
Mikal Tasia,
Where else I go, without you, my side.
and the best of Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. You're bringing us live here in Portsmouth, Scarborough, Tobago. For those of you just joining us, my name is Dwayne, and thank you for all of you viewing us on our varying platforms all over the world, Amplia, YouTube, Facebook, etc. On whatever device you might be looking at us this morning. We have certainly no stranger to us this morning, coming to talk about her upcoming Easter event, themed Easter Explorers Camp 2025, Miss Lavion Cupid. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Dwayne, and it's a pleasure to always be here on the opposite side of things this morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. I can't understand what technical difficulty, that brought you on this hour, but we are glad to have you here nonetheless.
Yes.
Right. So we know you here at Tobago Updates, but just share with the viewers what your background is and who you are outside of Tobago Updates, etc.
Sure. All right. Well, this morning I'm here to talk about Pigeon Point Heritage Park Limited, Easter Explorers Club Camp, right? But just so that I could slide in a bit about me, because I am the camp coordinator.
Okay.
I have been doing children's summer camps since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. And my last one was in 2019, right before the pandemic there. So this year I am working with Pigeon Point Heritage Park, and for their very exciting, and if I'm saying this to you, if Auntie Lavion is telling you that it is going to be a wonderful experience for your children, take my word. Chef's kiss, right? Pigeon Point Heritage Park. Limited, yeah.
So why the collaboration with Pigeon Point Heritage Park?
Well, actually, they were looking for a coordinator, and yes, they were looking for a coordinator, and they found the best on the island. Where else to look other than Auntie Lavion, right?
Now, what inspired you to create this event? And in fact, let's go back to 2014. What inspired you to get into, doing camps at Easter? Is it a way of, relieving parents of their children during this the holiday period? Tell us what inspired you.
Well, actually, at that time, my eldest would have been probably around 10 or around there. And I was looking for a camp for him, a summer camp. And there wasn't much availability. There's one that I heard about, and I said to myself, this is something that I could do, this is something that is needed. You would have had the short camps that THA would have offered, but there was also a need for longer camps because most camps would be 2 weeks and then you really don't know, as a parent, I'm telling you, you don't know what to do with them during July, August. Yeah. And so I ran my camps for 6 weeks. And so out of the 8 weeks, you'll have 2 weeks that you go shopping, go and visit with Granny. But for 6 weeks, you would have been able to drop them off by 7 a.m., pick them up no later than 5 p.m. So there was, almost like a daycare center with lots of activities and hands-on activities and educational activities to take them through that 6 weeks. So that is what would have inspired me those years ago.
So given the collaboration with Pigeon Point Heritage Park, is it that the camp is going to be at Pigeon Point Heritage Park?
Yes, it is going to be at Pigeon Point Heritage Park, down there at the pavilion, right next to the sea, the beautiful breeze. Yes,
have it real good.
It is going to be very exciting.
So is this the first time you're doing a camp of this nature per se?
Yes, it is. But I have done Easter camps before. Yeah, I think the most kids that I've managed per camp was 125. Yes, and
you alone?
No. Yes. So at that time I did a 5-to-1 ratio, adults to children, because you have to make sure that you keep them in check. You want to make sure you know where everybody is at every single point in time, right? But yeah, so it will be done at the pavilion, done at Pigeon Point Heritage Park.
All right. So we want to ask about age group. Can I join? I consider, the Bible tells me to be a child, as a little children, so is it that I could attend and enjoy the camp as well?
Well, actually you can, if you have a child attending the camp, we are opening up for parents to come and spend the day. So parents could come, spend the day. You could grab a launch chair on the side of the beach. Yeah, you could do whatever you want to do. You could be around, you could be there, you could participate. We are encouraging parents to come along and come inside and see what we are doing.
Right. And I'm seeing the breakdown of your costing, and I think it's quite it's good because sometimes parents want to know how much per day, because they may have plans for a particular day.
Yes, and you want to drop them off.
Yeah. So that's good. $175 at the starting price.
Yes.
And they have just remind me, the 1 week is $500. I saw.
Right, so 1 week is $600. So any day, any one particular day is $175, and per week is $600. 2 weeks would be $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah,
oh, that's
and that includes all the activities, all the materials for the activities, and also snacks, juice, and fruits.
All right. What about activities? Now, I used to really look forward to camp, especially for the summer camp.
Yeah.
I've never been to an Easter camp per se, but one of the things I used to look forward to is having outings, right? Either going to Trinidad, going around the island, going to Buku Reef. What are some of the activities the children can look forward to?
Well, listen to me. When I sat down with the team at Pigeon Point Heritage, they blew my mind. I just want to give kudos to those ladies. They put together, I would have added a few touches, but they put together the most exciting and spectacular camp schedule. One of the things that really excited me is the kids are going to have the opportunity to plant 300 coconut trees. The holes are going to be dug for them, and it's a matter of putting it down, covering it up. So over the 2 week period, we are going to be planting coconut trees down at Pigeon Point. And to me, that was just so exciting. I'm looking forward to that a little bit more than them. I'm a little too excited, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So we're talking Easter hunt, the treasure hunt, definitely, because they are looking forward to cook, to finding those eggs with chocolates. I am looking forward to the very same thing, right? We have arts and crafts, we have cookie making. What else is at the top of my
gardening
head?
for kids. I'm seeing puppet theater,
puppet show, pottery,
cooking, kite making.
Every day
kite
we
is a
have
staple
activities.
during Easter. I think there's everything a big kite fest in Goodwood. Yeah, I think it's around Easter time where there's flying big, massive kites. So
we would be giving them a nostalgic experience of making facts.
Oh, good. Because you see them paper kite and you see them ready-made.
Yes, so we're taking them back, all the way back. So we're getting those facts and we put in the, we used to take the plastic bag, or now we use the kite paper. Yeah, we're taking them all the way back. It's going to be retro.
It's just real. Those
because when you let your little chicky chong, that's what we used to call it, right? Go up. It's the most exhilarated and proud feeling you're gonna get. So we are definitely giving them that experience.
Don't be full of breeze.
Very breezy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna enjoy that.
I prefer the bamboo. I don't know about you. I prefer bamboo kites. Right, because it's neater. It's more pliable than the flex. Flex is easier to break.
Right.
But flex is a.
But also it goes with our age group because the age group is from 3 to 12.
Yes.
So they are going to be able to manipulate with the flex a lot more easier.
Because
we are looking forward to that.
There's how to cut and share the bamboo, and you could run the rest of cutting and all that kind of thing.
So that's a little bit more technical for them. So we're definitely going to take them down memory lane, down our memory lane, because poor kids ain't know nothing about that.
Yeah,
I think we are going to give them the experience.
I think I want to put on a camp for us older folks who want to have that nostalgic feeling as well, going back to the bamboo and then given that the children can't play with the things and them so much. What is registration? What is the deadline for registration?
It's ongoing. So deadline for registration is this Friday. All right. We don't want to go past this Friday because camp starts next week, Monday. All right. So the dates are from the 14th to the 18th. And yes, we are going to be out there on Good Friday. And it's from the 21st to the 25th. Yes, we're going to be out there Easter Monday. Camp starts at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You could drop off as early as 8:30 a.m. Auntie Lavian is going to be there waiting to receive your kids.
Yes.
And you could pick up as late as 2 p.m.
All right. What about food?
All right. So because they're coming in for 9 a.m., we know parents are going to give them breakfast, right? And then they would be getting, the light sandwiches and so on during the lunch period. But then they leave right at 1 p.m. So we know parents would take them away to get whatever their heavy meal is, But we would give them snacks, juice, light sandwiches, fruits, and so on in between.
All right. So the camp runs from 9 to 1.
9 to 1.
Oh,
yes.
that's good.
But drop off is as early as 8:30 and pick up as late as 2 p.m.
Yeah. So parents, do think you can pick up your children at 5, right? This is not that type of daycare center, So to give Auntie Lavi some lighter burdens and pick your children up on time, right? You could probably come down and be with them at the beach and so on, You
could also do that, yes. And I know parents might be wondering, it will be down at Pigeon Point, the sea is right there. Trust and believe they would not be venturing anywhere close to the water. And we do have a 3-to-1 adult and children ratio. So to every 3 kids, we have 1 adult on hand. And that's why we're also inviting parents to, come on, be a part of it. You could stick around for the few hours. It's up to you. All right. And for the activities, because our activities are very hands-on, all right? We want them to explore, and we are also taking the ecosystem into consideration. We want them to learn as much about their little island and all the little parts that make up this little island that are important to this sustainability, right? And so for the nature park tour and activities like that might be close to the water, we have lifeguards that are going to be very close by, all right? They're going to be right there. And so safety, we're definitely taking safety key. All right. And just saying that this is the 4th one that we're doing. We started off, The ladies down at Pigeon Point Heritage, I'm joining them this year. They started off in 2023 with Java Camp. In 2024, they did Easter and Java. And this year, so far, we have Easter again.
Thank you very much, Miss Cupid, for coming with us this morning. Just to rehash, just tell them the deadline for registration, the fees, and the age groups, and of course the period through which the camp will span from.
All right, sure. All right, so camp starts from next week, Monday. You could either do 1 week or you could do the both weeks. It starts from the 14th to the 18th, I think it is. Yes, and we would be out there on Good Friday. And then the following week is from the 21st to the 25th. Yes, we'll be out there on Easter Monday. It's $175 per child, $600 per week, or $1,000 for both weeks from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You could drop off as early as 8:30 a.m. and pick up as late as 2 p.m. All right. And just want to give some thanks to our sponsors, Sugar Reef Boat Tours, Sugar Lips, Kyrie People, Jade Monkey, Radical Sports. And just to let parents know that you can pay via cash, links, or online payments are welcome as well. And call 254-7747. That's 254-7747. All right. And make arrangements. Auntie Lavian is looking forward to having your children, and we are going to have a lot of fun. Trust me, the children are going to want to remain with me, but I'm going to send them back.
Yes.
They are going to want to remain with me. They are going to have a wonderful time down at Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Easter Explorers Camp.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us again this morning. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Guys, that was Miss Lavian Cupid coming to talk about her Easter event, Easter Explorers Camp 2025. Up next, we have none other than Mr. Ecliffe Eli, fashion designer, coming to discuss Tobago Fashion Coda 7. Just remember, stay tuned and to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Yeah! Tobago, get ready. Stephen Marley is on his way.
From jungle to Rima, Himini, Tifa little matches, you.
The Rhythm and Soul Festival introduces the son of the legend, the one and only Stephen Marley. Experience the Marley Dynasty live at the Dwight York Stadium at Fusion, Easter Sunday, April 20th. The Kings reunite on one stage. Stephen Marley.
Yeah, baby, don't
Graham Smogan.
have I shown you?
Wayne Wonder.
Somebody, she is a beauty.
Cats the Band. And many more.
This song she made. Girl, coming home, I see you again.
Tickets are going fast. Follow Tobago Festivals on Facebook and Instagram. Or call 639-4441 for more info. Fusion, April 20th at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium. The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago fashion Coda is back with a bang, bringing with it quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates Morning Show. Here bringing us live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne and I'm joined with Miss Natalia Nancis, and we will be discussing with Mr. Ecliffe Eli about his upcoming event themed Tobago Fashion Coda 7. And of course, many of you would know Mr. Ecliffe Eli for his, his really pristine and really good looking crisp suits. He's a man, I think he does the bespoke design and so on for his clients and so on. He has some of our he has done work for some of our most notable persons on the island and in the country, and we wanted to have a conversation with him this morning. Good morning.
I've never seen him. I've only seen his name on his stores.
You've never seen him?
I have never seen
man,
him.
you doesn't watch TV.
So I'm having a fangirl moment right now. So I'm ready to see Mr. Eli.
Good morning, Mr. Eli. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
All right, you see how sharp the man looking?
Suit just fitted right.
Yeah, watch the blues. Look how the white comes in, contrasting with the blue.
Complementing tie, everything is there. Everything is there. We are speaking to the guy about fashion, right? So, Mr. Eli,
before we go over to the questions, we know he just launched a branch in Tobago here at Crown Point. Are you over here right now?
No, I'm not. I'm in Trinidad right now, but I'll definitely be there for Fashion Coda.
Okay.
Good. So go ahead, Miss Nancis.
I mean, everybody knows Ecliffe Eli, right? He's joined with us this morning, big fashion expert, especially in male's clothing. All right, but give us a formal definition of who Ecliffe Eli is. So, who is Ecliffe Eli?
Well, Ecliffe Eli is someone who started from humble beginnings. I started doing tailoring at age 14. So this year makes it 36 years I've been involved in the trade, fashion, and also tailoring, manufacturing. So I did, at age 14, I did tailoring in school, Form 4 and Form 5 at Shoguna's Senior Comprehensive School. And I was able to not give up, stay steady, and focus on building over the years. And today we boast of 5 different locations in terms of world-class customer service and fashion and menswear education from all our staff. We have one in Tobago, Westmall in Trinidad, C3, San Fernando, where did I forget? Yes, well, of course, Tobago, and then we have an e-commerce website. So the brand is not just about tailoring, or is actually when you come into our Ecliffe Eli store, we have our own Ecliffe Eli shoes, Ecliffe Eli bags, Ecliffe Eli suits, and we carry 3 different types of suits, which is retail, which is off the rack. Then we have the other type of suit called made to measure, and then we have the other type of suit called bespoke, which is advanced customization and more detailed type of tailoring.
All right.
So, what inspires your designs? I have to ask this question because to me, when you get into fashion, you have to keep up, right? And I mean, you would have ideas, and then some people experience this stumbling block or whatever be the case. But you seem to be on stream and on point every time that there is a new fashion trend. There is Ecliffe Eli with the complementary clothing to suit, right? So, what inspires your designs?
Well, different things. The advantage I have as a designer, we actually manufacture our own stuff. And in fashion, one of the first things they teach you is understand your customer and who it is you're selling to. And with that, for me, it becomes very easy because we have the classic timeless pieces and then have the ones we will reinvent the style and design over and over. So like, for example, we carry two main lines, which is luxury, which is the suits, of course. And then we have the resort, which is like linen and cottons and the pattern shirts and so on. So keeping our customer in mind and what would make them happy, we use that as our main inspiration to create any form of design. Because yes, we are a design, tailoring, manufacturing company, but we just cannot do what we like or feel for or think the people need. We have to know what people need and give them exactly what they want. And that is how we get our inspiration and has also helped us to be on top of our game every time consistently.
All right. So Mr. Eli, you will be participating in as a fashion designer in Tobago Fashion Coda 7, right?
Yes.
Tell us about Fashion Coda 7 and what you will be likely bringing to this event.
So with Fashion Coda 7, I've been to a couple of the previous shows, and it was well attended. I remember the last show we had, Shadow had performed.
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow had performed, and that was a first time I saw him perform, and that was awesome. So we could expect some nice colors in terms of suits, which is like lilac, light green, sky blue, and some nice mixtures in terms of luxury and resort. And of course, you're going to see the models wearing it in such a way that you could see the designs are well put together. So you could see yourself in it, wearing it. And we have the long weekend coming up with the different concerts. And we'll also have stuff readily available right there. If you want to purchase, of course, you could come to the store. But in terms of the design, you can expect to be blown away. You're doing something totally different and something fresh and new that will be sure to Tobago for the first time.
All right.
I'm hearing major things coming out here because Dwayne gave some examples of what color suits we should have. The black, the tan, did you mention white? Navy blue and these things, right? But now we're hearing colors like lilac to be seen in Tobago Fashion Coda 7. So we have a lot to look forward to doing.
Yes. My next question to you is, Mr. Eli, a big part of those suit connoisseurs, those who love suits, right, is about the fabric used, right? Yeah. What are some of the fabrics that you play with, and how do you stay on top of the game, while maintaining, the modernity, the cost, and all these kind of things?
Well, so let's start with the fabric. That's a very good question, actually, because our fabrics, most of our fabrics we use is like tropical wool, and the way that the suit is in the trap heat, it helps the air to circulate.
Yes.
While you're wearing the suit, especially for our climate, which creates comfort. We also, in our bespoke suits, we also put sweat pads under the arms of the jacket, so we don't see wet spots like printed under the arms and so on, just in case you have somebody that perspire a lot. So our suits don't trap heat and it actually circulates air and create comfort. In terms of the cost, we have created different price ranges because when we now started our business, we were losing a lot of business to the regular retail stores. We were doing made to measure and bespoke mainly, and because we love the craft so much, we still focus on these pieces to make for individuals. So two things was happening. One, because it's bespoke, it takes a little more time to create the other order, make a deposit, come back, which is a service we still offer for the guy who want the bespoke and made to measure experience. So we're losing a lot of business to the retail suits. So what we did, I designed a line of suits that is more affordable that is in the store, and those suits have different levels in terms of how it is we charge for it. So and then have the guys who have the size to just put on a suit and it fit them perfect and it could walk out the store. So for that, we were able to create the different levels of the retail suit. So if you have, let's call a common color, let's say navy blue, for example. We have 10 different sizes in those navy blue suits. So once it fit well, then we offer tailoring to adjust it, and that service is free. And then you have the made to measure and bespoke. What a lot of people don't know is that a suit don't ever go out of style. So we offer a lifetime warranty on all our suits. That's the level of confidence we have in our suits. Lifetime warranty. What that does, in the event that you're wearing it, we encourage you to wear suits for a minimum of 8 years, minimum. And with that, with the lifetime warranty, if a button pop or a zip, whatever, you can bring it back, which rarely happens. What we find more happening is a guy might go on a loose wage, like a lost wage.
Yes.
We will adjust it for him multiple times. Or a guy might make a suit where you have to attend a wedding, and he might pick it up 6 months or 9 months after, and it may not be able to button. But if it's a customized suit, we have an allowance in the suit, we can let it out free of charge. So basically, we see every brand, every person that orders suits from Eclipse Eli is a brand ambassador for the brand. And we don't want you going out there looking hung up on the suit. So we make it and fixing it for you every time. So if you go out now and you say, bro, you're looking really good in that suit, first thing you'll say, I got it from Eclipse Eli, lifetime warranty. So word of mouth is still the strongest form of advertising, and we make sure that each and every customer is a walking brand ambassador for Eclipse Eli.
All right. Well, my final question to you is, before I hand over to my co-host, is about the event. What experience? Well, we know you have a lot of experience, and you mentioned that this is not your first time coming to Coda. Just tell us what your first experience was like, and what do you expect coming from this event, and where the event is going to be taking place, etc., etc.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first and foremost, this Fashion Coda is on par with international fashion events all around the world. So they're on par, if not surpass, where these type of fashion events are held internationally. So for the event itself, it's a very prestigious event, and and they're bringing it to Tobago. I could tell you that Trinidad, we don't have an event like this. And I like the fact that it's at Magdalena Grand, it's outdoor, it's breezy, it's cool, it's a wonderful experience, it's all inclusive, and it's a very nice experience for people who have never been to an international fashion show to come to Fashion Coda, because of course, it have a lot of other designers who will create some lovely designs, and I just can't wait for the event to come. I'm kind of really, really excited about that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. And the last question, of course, a lot of viewers may want to know. Well, we know that Fashion Coda, they said that they're bringing the style with the rhythm this year. And you mentioned that, we could look forward to a lot of vibrant colors and these type of things. Could you give us some insight into how you would meet style with rhythm as our last question this morning?
Well, that's very simple. Well, Richard Young is doing the models, so I know they will be well trained. Of course, the choice of music, and you're going to see the movement in the designs, and you can see yourself wearing it, as I said earlier on. So that's how I plan to capture the audience, and I think it's a perfect marriage for the event.
Yes, without giving too much away.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to thank you, Mr. Eclipse Eli, for joining us this morning on Tobago Updates on Youth Wednesdays. Thank you very much for sharing with us, and we look forward to see your offerings, at the event coming up very soon. Thank you for being with us, and just remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
I just want to mention ticket information.
Fusion. On April 20th, 2025, the parade grounds comes alive for a blend of genres, offering something for all ages and tastes at Fusion.
Heat me up. Only you alone could put fire back in the soul.
Experience a night of great music and unforgettable vibes. Dance to the music of Kiss the Band. Kiss the Band. Kiss the Band.
Tell me dios, baby. Take back a dios, honey. Take back a dios, baby.
Stephen Marley, Gramps Morgan, Wayne Wonder, and many more. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 20th at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium. Fusion Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates, and we are here with our last interview for the morning with Miss Kimberly Kwashi. So while we were going through the rundown, Dwayne and I would have mentioned, what is this, ask the question, what is this manners for minors? How does one go about accomplishing such a feat, right? And this morning we have with us Miss Kimberly Kwashi. She'll be coordinator for that camp, that Easter camp.
Yes.
Yes. So good morning, Miss Kwashi.
Good morning.
All right. So we're seeing that manners for minors comes from Protocol Catalyst. Right? So who is Protocol Catalyst?
So the Protocol Catalyst is a leadership and consulting firm where we're aimed at transforming lives through leadership, protocol, etiquette training. So our mission is simple, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
So it's about creating leaders and inspiring change at the same time.
Okay.
So we offer training for kids, adults in that area of etiquette and protocol training.
All right. So we're looking at like this overall thing that would encompass both adult and child.
Yes.
So we're having this camp called Manners for Minors.
Yes.
And this is you now focusing on the children.
Yes.
Ages
5 up until 10.
All right. So we'll get into Manners for Minors soon. But what inspired the idea behind Protocol Catalyst?
So actually, I've been working on this idea since 2021. I was home just about completing my first master's. I had resigned my job and I was like, what can I do? I have learned so much and yet I'm not utilizing what I would have learned. So every day I would have a notebook and I would be documenting ideas and looking for a name for my business, looking for a mission and a vision statement. And I finally came up with the concept of the protocol catalyst.
Yeah.
So whilst I was there, I had the idea of, okay, now that I've registered and I have my business, what's next?
Yeah.
Who do I use as my target? And I decided to do kids. So I am already a part-time facilitator where I do protocol and diplomacy training with Kemal. So that's basically adults. And by doing research, I looked and I didn't see anybody that worked with kids in terms of teaching them their social graces.
Yeah.
So hence, that's the reason why Manners for Minors came about, because I wanted to invest my time and I wanted to work with the kids.
Right. So we have the overall idea for a protocol catalyst. Now, I would say these days children have no manners. So when I saw the advertisement for Manners for Minors, I was very intrigued, wanting to know more about this, right? So where did you're saying that Manners for Minors was one of the ideas that you got coming out of the ideas to protocol catalyst, right? So who exactly would you be catering to when you talk about Manners for Minors, and what exactly is Manners for Minors?
So because this is my first program under my business name, and it's something that I have a passion for, wanting to see persons evolve, I want to, Manners for Minors it's a program that targets kids. Well, my youngest age is from 5, but a parent called me and she said to me, my daughter is 3 and I will be sending her. So I'm focusing from the age group 5 up until 10.
Okay.
So it's basically teaching them social graces. I mean, these are kids that are faced with a lot of challenges in terms of being bullied. They're not sure how to express themselves.
Right.
And parents and all would have said to me, I feel like I have failed as a parent because they are trying to instill the discipline and stuff within their kids, but maybe having somebody else assist them in doing that may change. To me, you have to meet children where they are. It doesn't always have to be an aggressive approach to kids. So I am looking forward to meet the different students or the different kids that I would encounter. And at the end of my training, that they would leave with something where the parents would be satisfied and see where they got their returns.
All right. So I'm very much interested in hearing what your activities for this camp is, because we come from Caribbean households.
Yes.
And the only way you have of instilling manners into minors here is really, I wouldn't even go into it, right? But you have an idea of where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Right? So what are some of the activities that you would have now to I would say an alternate activity, because the activity that we do know is what we do know, right? So what now would be your activities to instill the manners into the minors for the camp?
Okay, so I would have role plays. So after I would have teach a particular module, I would have the kids do role playing. I would encourage them to work as a team, because teamwork is very important.
Yes.
I would have them do certain scenarios based on what we would have learned today. So for example, if the magic word of the day, I would call them magic words or phrases.
Yes.
So if the magic word of the day is to say thank you, we would do scenarios where the kids are able to do things where they are able to use that phrase in saying thank you for whatever scenario that we would have done on that day.
Okay, all right. So we're looking at words like please,
please, thank you, I am sorry,
excuse me. I find that's one that these children need to learn these days. They would come mommy, and not one word before mommy and want you to answer. Okay. Right? So I'm encouraging you all to send the children to Manners to Minors. All right. So how do I enroll my child into this camp?
So enrollment is easy. You can contact me at 709-9640, or you could go on our Facebook page, the Protocol Catalyst, and send a message. And once you send us a message, we would send you all the information that you need to register.
Okay. And what's the minor cost that we would have to pay to get our children enrolled?
So there is $100 that covers registration. And with that $100, you have the kids would get a branded T-shirt. They would also get a Manners for Minor pin where I would want them to wear it every day of the camp. So the branded T-shirt, I would want them to wear it on the first day and the last day.
Okay.
The $500 overall fee would cover the resources. It would also help to get, because I would have invested in books about manners for the kids. So when they leave the camp, each child would take home a book that speaks to manners. So it reminds them of what they would have learned, and they would always have something to go back to look at. Another thing is because I'm teaching table manners and dining etiquette as well. On the final day of camp, each cohort gets a chance to practice what they learn with their knife and fork. So I would be preparing meals and giving them that opportunity to utilize what they would have learned in terms of their table manners. As well, our parents always say, oh gosh, my daughter is terrible at table manners. But the response I got from this program, it was so overwhelming. And they were like, I've never seen anything like this. And I was wondering when somebody would have done something like this. So I'm really grateful that I stepped out of my comfort zone or decided to step out of my comfort zone and just do what I have a passion for.
I'm happy that you did as well, because I mean, aside from the normal Easter camp that we would have, not saying that these camps are, just by the way, but this is now an additional unique Easter camp that we can now send children to. I love the activities that you have planned for them.
Yes, I have activities as well.
I see how children would act in role play, and they love it. So I'm seeing, a positive outcome from this camp. And I don't want to speculate on what the outcome would be, but what would be your goal? What is the goal that you hope to see out of this Easter camp?
So my thing is to ensure that I delivered. My thing is to ensure that when the children gets home, that their parents could see a difference in their mannerism, in how they carry about themselves, in how they treat others. So that is my main goal after my program. So persons could talk about my program, and going forward, I could get more persons wanting to be a part of Manners for Minors, because it's something that would remain under the protocol catalyst.
Right. So I just want to advise you that you should probably prepare for next year, because this is a unique camp and people would gravitate to something like this. It's something that is very beneficial to children nowadays, right? So my last question to you is, how long will your program be running for, and where can we find more information on it?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, it's something that would be ongoing, but for this period, my program begins on the 14th of April until the 17th for age groups 1 to 5 to 7 years, and on the 22nd to the 25th of April for age groups 8 to 10 years.
Okay, so we have a divide in the age groups and how we deal with them.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and forgot to mention that at the end of the program, these children will also receive certificates of participation.
Is there a deadline for payments and registration?
Yes, we are approaching the first week, and because I have to figure out the logistics in terms of ensuring that each child is able to get a jersey to enter the camp. So next week, Monday, camp begins. So basically by Friday would be my cutoff time for the first age group. I know I still have some time for the second age group, where next week, probably midweek next week, would be the cutoff time, because I want to make sure that the persons attending the camp, they are uniformed just like the others.
Right. Okay. All right. So this was Miss Kimberly Kwashi on Manners for Minors, an upcoming Easter camp that you are all invited to attend. The cost is a little $500 out of your pocket to teach your children table manners and everything alike. All right. So Miss Kwashi, thank you so much for being with us here this morning on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates.
And thank you for having me.
All right. Viewers, this was your last interview for the morning for a morning show. We go straight into Good Morning Tobago with Miss Candice Jackson. So before I go, I want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Healthcare on the island continues to be top priority for the Tobago House of Assembly. And as such, the Tobago Regional Health Authority recently commissioned 3 state-of-the-art high-tech ambulances to continue to provide service delivery to the people of Tobago. This will not only increase the present fleet, but will enhance the emergency medical services across the island in an effort to ensure timely responses when carrying out medical duties.
Today is a proud and momentous day of the Tobago Regional Health Authority, and by extension, the people of Tobago. The actual commissioning of these 3 ambulances, you didn't get it. The actual commissioning is not just about adding vehicles to our fleet, it is about strengthening and shortening the critical lifeline that exists between Tobagonians and their healthcare delivery units, the hospitals. As we officially commission these ambulances, let us reaffirm our collective responsibility to serve, protect, and provide quality care for every Tobagonian.
If we are to provide proper health care, we need to be able to provide swift health care. And swift health care requires several things, but 2 broad things. Speed, getting the people to the health service, and then at the health service, getting them diagnosed quickly and then treated. And with those things, I am pleased to be here as we commission 3 of the 4 ambulances. I have heard about the tanks and how battle ready they are. This is just one step. This is just the first step, but it is the first of many. And each of you have been a part of making this first step an amazing reality.
Before purchasing these ambulances, a series of studies was carried out in order to make the best suitable purchases.
I'm pleased to inform you that the work of our technical teams in corporate services, operations, legal services, and TEMS produced a detailed and modern specification requirement list that achieve the delivery of these state-of-the-art 2 patient-ready emergency medical delivery units, the TRHA tanks. Four of these units, as the 3 here demonstrate, are, as you will no doubt observe, just above the average size of the current units in the existing fleet, and will no doubt be applied immediately to work. The next 8 will be single patient ready, slightly more nimble and smaller, again with the most modern specifications necessary to prioritize quality care and quality care delivery in Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 9th April 2025. The U.S. has revoked Trinidad and Tobago's licenses to monetize gas from the Dragon and Coquina Manikin gas fields with Venezuela. Prime Minister Stuart Young announced the decision at a sudden press conference yesterday, citing OFAC's reversal of the licenses. While the revocation stalls payments to Venezuela, Young pledged continued negotiations and engineering work with a wind-down period until May 27th. However, he said all is not lost, as TNT continues with broader energy activity and future gas prospects like Manatee. Young remains hopeful, citing U.S.'s assurances that TNT's economy won't be harmed and committed to pursuing alternative strategies for the country's energy future. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary and TPP political leader Fali Augustine said the revoking of the Dragon Gas deal license highlights the vulnerability of small nations like Trinidad and Tobago to global powers. Speaking at a political meeting in Plymouth last night, he stressed that the situation reinforces the urgent need to diversify the national economy beyond oil and gas, focusing instead on sectors where the country has a competitive edge, such as tourism. Augustine stated that the next 5 years will be crucial, calling for a strong leadership and prudent fiscal management to navigate the challenges ahead. And finally, Digicel has removed its $3 over-the-counter payment fee effective immediately. The fee, introduced in December 2022, faced backlash from customers. New CEO Peter Vadecki said the move reflects Digicel's renewed focus on customer satisfaction and a commitment to improving service. He acknowledged the fee as a major pain point and highlighted the company's intention to listen and respond to customer feedback. Digicel also hinted at more changes ahead, aiming to rekindle the strong connection it established with Trinidad and Tobago's customers when it first launched in 2006. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, now moving away from the news and getting into some of what's happening now. So we saw over the past few days some videos surfacing once again highlighting the disturbing situation within our schools, and of course that has to do with bullying, has to do with school violence and that sort of thing. So to give us a perspective on what's been happening, what's the latest, we are being joined by the Tobago Officer for Tutor, and that is Mr. Braden Roberts. Good morning and welcome to you, sir, Mr. Roberts. How are you doing?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to your
set. All right, great. So, I mean, first of all, like one of the videos that we saw in the last few days was that of a teacher fending off some other students, and he had a broomstick in his hand, and there was some concern that he might have been suspended. Do you have any information with us concern about that situation?
Right, so there is no evidence of any suspension. I've seen that being floating around and so on. I have seen and heard persons in authority commending the teacher. However, I don't want us to be lost either in the suspension or in the commending the teacher for his intervention. These children need to behave.
Yeah.
We need to have things in place to prevent these behaviors. And unfortunately, we have, over the years, as the behavior becomes more deviant, sensationalize it when it happens, and then we forget about it, especially now where there are all other things to talk about, so we may talk about it now. The children may be suspended. I think the children were suspended. Probably 2-3 weeks, if so much, and we move on to the next. We have children who are struggling to contain themselves. A lot of these children are lost, and when we don't attend to them, they act out. And we have nothing in Trinidad and Tobago. I've heard them speaking about MILAT, but that is after school. There is nothing for a primary school child who has psychological issues that there's any center, there's any particular space that they can be treated. So we have them in one primary school, and they give trouble, we transfer them to another primary school. We assign social workers and guidance officers who may spend an hour a week, who may spend a couple of minutes with that child when they go back to the same environment that have them lost. So we talk about the fights and the teachers and what could teachers do, but we're not stopping the cause, we're not addressing the cause of the problem. So it's not to see what happens at the end, We need to get deeper into the matter. I know that it would be a costly thing, and the business people may not see returns on their investment. However, we will pay for it in the end when we don't treat it at the beginning.
With crime and so on.
Sure.
But this situation also highlights just the challenges teachers face, specifically when they encounter situations like that and trying to figure out what is the best move. Do we just let the children be? Do we get involved and potentially risk physical harm and, all of these things? So what is our teacher's position? What is the tutor's stance on the teacher's position when a situation like this happens?
Right, so teachers are thrown in the ocean and are asked to swim, float, whatever you do, don't allow the children to kill themselves. That's where teachers are. You see, this happens when persons who are policymakers who don't understand what happens at the ground make decisions. So we have all the children's rights, we have the abolishment of the corporal punishment. They made all these policies without putting anything in place for the child who cannot contain themselves. As a teacher, there's a very thin line between helping and hurting. So you may be trying to prevent something from happening, but in grabbing or pushing, you may damage somebody. It is then the teacher who would be looked at and scrutinized. We have the security officers, the MTS officers and so on, who are hesitant also in intervening, because if anything goes wrong in their intervention, it's their job would be at risk. A child at most, well, unless it's really bad, will be expelled, but we try to avoid that. At most, they are suspended for a week or two, and they come back. They give no end of worries. So teachers, we give the guidance as, you cannot leave a child. You should not leave a child as an adult. Leave children to slug out, to go at each other, because you are fearful of what an intervention could result in. So you exercise great caution as best as is possible. But I want to move beyond the advice for a teacher, because it's actually, we're hoping that nothing goes wrong when they intervene.
Yes.
We want the Division of Education, who has authority in Tobago here. If we are doing all these TDA, that the Tobago District Assessment, and all these assessments and all these reports and all this data collection, if it's one thing we do well in Trinidad and Tobago is collect data. But what we do with the data, I really don't know why we stress out persons to get all this data and do nothing with it. So if we have these students who we know they're not reading properly, they're not doing good in their arithmetic, what are we putting in place for them so at least they are attentive to something other than being frustrated and putting out their frustration on other children and on teachers, because some of them are very disrespectful to teachers. These children who are given all this trouble in primary school, they go to secondary school with no kind of reporting to the secondary school as to this is the challenge that this child has. When interacting with this child and your provisions for this child, be mindful of these things. There is seldom that. There was this blue card that they call the cumulative card. That has been out of existence for some time. I believe it's up 2 to 3 years now. They have been trying to get that card printed. But however, when that card transfers to the secondary school, very little could be used out of it to see what you are going to do at the secondary school level.
And what was the blue card? What was the specifics of the blue card?
Well, that gives the recording of the child. So the grades that they would have gotten over the years, the teacher's comments, which would be minimal, what overall comment they would have. And that would go with the child when they go to their secondary school. How much use it would have been for the secondary school, I cannot say. My deepest concern, though, it's schools like Mason Hall and Roxborough and to an extent Signal Hill Secondary, where they send a number of the under 20%. Now, if you are sending a certain grouping of students to a particular school, it's because that particular school have a program for them. You have Mason Hall Secondary School who have a lot of gang activity within the school. So it's very often they're having fights. The teachers are very concerned about it. Ever so often you hear police going up there, you're hearing who in 6 and who in 7 in school. I went to a workshop with principals and the topic was managing trauma in education. Trauma in education? And we as leaders, We're talking about it only when a fight occurs, which is disheartening. We have the secretary to me who is sitting on the answer. You're talking about the Tobago-centric thing. There are some children, no matter how you change around to teach them fractions, it's not to them to sit down, study in a classroom, and just learn it by rote. So there are different things we need to incorporate for children to have a better understanding of their schoolwork and how it applies to real life. But this Tobago-centric thing, just as in planning stage forever, I don't know when we will get an implementation of it. Tutor has played limited role based on the invitation to play a role. But if we don't do anything different for the children, we're going to continue getting what we're getting. And to see what teachers could do, there is not an answer for that. There isn't an answer for that because we have taken away all the rights from our schools. And to some extent, we've taken away the rights from the parents. Because as a parent, if you're disciplining a child and by some means you cause any harm, you have to respond to the police officers who will be coming to investigate this abuse. So you can't talk stern to a child because that's verbal abuse. Of course, they talk about hitting and the physical abuse that is. So children are not fearful anymore. I went to one school where a police officer came in to do an intervention with 2 children who were bullying another child. And these children have a smile on their face. They have no fear anymore because they know nothing happens to them. So the call really is at the policy stage. We need to have something done for those children, even from the primary school, who are not conforming to what the system has.
And as you mentioned in primary school, we had a situation last week come out into the public of a student threatening a teacher, saying that he's part of one of the gangs and so on. I mean, how is tutor, handling these reports too, like when that comes in terms of ensuring teachers have some support? Is there any support that can be given from a tutor perspective? Give us your thoughts on these things.
Right. So even at my school visits, or even when these teachers call, I would give them the advice as to how to go about reporting, how to go about the counseling, how to go about within your response, because a teacher has to maintain calm. If you lose calm, then you will not be able to help any child in a situation like that. So we ensure that we do the reporting to this division. The school supervisors are aware of it, first of all, so that something doesn't happen and the division would see they weren't aware that that's what it was. And how you encourage the child, how you have the parents involved in the particular matter. The challenge though is some of the children who are giving us trouble in the last 10 years are no parents. So when you send for the parents, is some of those same characters that will be coming to meet you to have a conversation about the child. So we talk about, that maintaining that emotional balance to be able to see your best way of navigating the situation. Teachers have been trying odd ways of discipline. I have been advising against that. This disciplinary matrix thing is just a farce. When these children are giving work troubles, send them to the principal. Let the principal deal with that. So I know the principals or members will not be pleased with my comment, but then the principal will do the necessary reporting to the division, and that is how we have to work with that, because any form of discipline that anyone could perceive as some form of abuse, the teacher is the one who would then have to answer to all these set of questions and all the ridicule, because all it takes is one social media person who have no information go out there and spread all sorts of rumors about our teachers and our members. So we advise our teachers to be cautious. Yes, you will need to intervene, but we need the support from the division. We need the support from the ministry, because I think Trinidad also don't have things in place for our students who are not doing well. So that's where the call has always been, and I'm not seeing, even on the campaign speeches now, if you listen, you're not hearing persons talking about education, what they intend to do for education. I mean, 90% of their speeches are on what the other party are doing, and so I don't know where the hope really comes from to dealing with our young minds who are going off course.
And of course, this also speaks to a wider societal problem, because, back, let's say, when we were growing up and so on, there was still corporal punishment. There was still writing the lines, you do something, go run some laps and so on. But now you can't tell a child that.
Well, you see, I am not so much against removing those things, you know. We have to replace it with something. And there is a positive side of discipline. So you could positively have that moral education, but it has to be in something that interests them. A child who is not accustomed to doing well in school, you can't call a child to be interested in any maths, anything, any social studies, anything, because they're not accustomed to that. That's not a fun time for them. So we need from very early, we be consistent with the moral education, but there must be supporting activities to keep their interest.
What kind of supporting activities would help?
Right, so we have the like for the football. Football is only during football time, but football have a lot of maths in it. So you have where the coach will say, get into groups of 5, get into groups of 3, and these children enjoy that. But that's multiplication. It's repeated addition. You could do subtraction. There are different things you could do infused in all those other activities. So we tell our children, don't run. But replace it with what? What do they do at break time? So when they don't run, what else do they do? There are number games that you can play. Look at things in the environment that could give you 5. What fruits could give you 5? What package of anything? So you're encouraging them to explore numbers. Then maths become easy. What's in the languages? So we want to introduce Spanish in the primary school, but it's only these standard 5 teachers sometimes after SE who will do some verbal with those children. But encourage them in a one sentence. You learn that for about a week or so. The good morning, the infuse things that the children need, they could apply to their daily living throughout the days. So you keep their interest in something positive. You reward these children at the different levels. So different things that they engage in, you make sure that they get that attention. The improvements of such, you reward those. Student council. Giving those children that sense of responsibility for these particular activities in your school helps to build that character that we want to build. I don't know that many of our schools have a student council, especially the primary schools. Some of the secondary schools do. But there are positive things that we need to do to keep them positively engaged. When they are not positively engaged, they look for the little fights where they get attention there. Those children who don't do well in maths, they will get attention when they give trouble. They will not get attention in anything to do with schoolwork because that's not their strength. So we need to infuse the things that they do in their daily life with the work and not just have maths at maths time and spelling at spelling time and everything so segmented where they're not doing well. So I really hope that even if it's not a Tobago-centric something, but somewhere schools have a project-based approach, a thematic approach. So I think I heard the Chief Secretary talking about building tourism. Which schools in Tobago have a tourism focus? Are we hoping that when they leave school, they will like tourism? We need to include tourism even in the primary school maths. So instead of picking a sum from the textbook, teachers would be able to recreate the math problems using aspects of tourism. So children, outside of learning the maths only, they're hearing the narrative around tourism, the character need around tourism, the effects of our poor conduct on tourism, the mannerisms that we would want to learn. Those things would come out in your maths, your vocabulary, creative writing, the secondary school subjects as well. But schools don't have that focus. So the secondary school math teacher does his job or her job during his period of time, and those children go to another class where that teacher does what they have to do during that period of time, and there is no cohesiveness. And that's where the policies, the resources need to come in to give schools that particular focus so that we don't have children continuously slipping through the cracks.
What about in terms of support for teachers as, you know, we're going through this period? Because as you speak to a policy change that needs to happen. And unfortunately, we know these things do not happen overnight. Even if that's a trajectory of whichever government is in play, for whatever reason, it takes a long time. But in the meantime, there is all of these challenges our teachers are facing, especially with dealing with these troubled children. What kind of support would you like, whether it's from the ministry, the society, private sector? You know, what would the teachers like to be able to have the best approach to deal with these kids?
So I like your question, and I'm going back to the cause. We don't want to make the environment toxic and then see what support teachers will get. We need to minimize the level of toxicity in our schools. I would say this much. Teachers are also frustrated with one another.
Yes.
So there are a lot of conflict among teachers and principal. I spend most of my time doing mediation. I visit a number of schools to deal with that conflict among the teaching staff and so on. They have the elders and associates where they do the employee assistance program where they have counseling and so on. But I do not believe most of the teachers take up that counseling. You know, persons believe when you go to counseling is because you have mental issues or some, but it's more than that. So there's a little stigma towards going to counseling. However, the supported teachers gave the teachers what they work for. So those have their outstanding increments and their gratuity because they have their problems, you know. And we believe that they're supposed to drop all those things and be their best for the students. So all those outstanding gratuity now will be coming very hard at the divisions shortly. Because about 10 million plus they have for our contract teachers. Not the increments, you know, that's just contract teachers. We have the outstanding increments as well. So give them what they have worked for to start with. Then there are some things that add to the toxicity of our schools. We need to have those things resolved. We have guidance officers and social workers who are under-resourced. So they can't really help to the capacity that we want. So the environment needs to be addressed where those things are concerned, bringing toxicity. And the teachers are human beings with family and have expenses. So the monies that they are owing teachers, I just do not want to raise it too much in this political period for them to say it's politics. But as soon as this period passes, I will be coming very seriously regarding the outstanding monies that they have for teachers. So support, there are structures in place, they are not being efficiently utilized, especially with the support system of the school guidance officers and so on. The finances owed to our teachers, the programs for the children who are not doing well. And we made a major mistake in removing remedial teachers from school, you know. So the children who are not able to read, don't have that time where they will go to a remedial teacher, spend about an hour, help with a little bit of their reading. They would have replaced that with instructional coaches. And I know that that grouping of persons don't like me talking about it either. I don't know what the benefits are. Because the belief is if I help the teachers plan better, they will be able to reach all the children. The gap is wide with a number of those children. I don't know that what better planning will cater for all of them. Some of them need special attention. So there are basic things that the division needs to address. I know it will be costly and they're talking about funding and so on, but we're going to pay for it one way or the other. So support for teachers, they fix the social ills in terms of the schools and all the challenges, psychological that these children have. Cater for them because we cannot just expel these children. They need to be addressed in terms of their mental well-being and so on. And all that the teachers would have worked for. We're not begging for additions. What they would have worked for, you give them that. And they would be able to manage because they're spending the little money that they have now to buy the resources that they're not sending to the school. So these are the conversations I would want to hear from aspiring leaders. How are we going to fix this problem? Because we're going to continue to have the crime rate if we don't fix the education system.
And that's where we're going to just have to end things on that very salient point. Mr. Roberts, I want to thank you so much for being on with us and for giving us a perspective on what's going on with our children, especially where our troubled children are concerned and the challenges that teachers face. So thank you. And of course, thank you so much for the work that you do in our schools. I know it's not easy.
Yeah, and I do hope that the powers that be do listen.
Yes.
They need to listen and act on it. So thanks again for having me on your platform.
Certainly. All right, viewers, well, we're going to go for a quick break, but we'll be back right after this.
It's a brand new morning.
Fusion. On April 20th, 2025, the Parade Grounds comes alive for a blend of genres, offering something for all ages and tastes at Fusion.
Keep me up. Only you alone could put fire back in the soul.
Experience a night of great music and unforgettable vibes. Dance to the music of Kes the Band. Kess the Band. Kess the Band.
Tell me diamonds, baby. Take back a diamonds, honey. Take back a diamonds, baby.
Stephen Marley, Gramps Morgan, Wayne Wonder, and many more. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 20th at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium. Fusion Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago fashion Coda is back with a bang, bringing with its quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look out below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look out below, 'cause this is your show.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, viewers. Now, we are switching our conversation to fashion. And if you don't know by now, Fashion Coda 7 is coming up soon. So I am continuing our discussion about Fashion Coda, and joining me to speak about some more aspects of it is Miss Colleen Gans as well as Denzi Stewart. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, my dear.
All right, so let's first start talking about Fashion Coda. For those that have not been paying attention, what is Fashion Coda about, Mr. Gans?
Fashion Coda is about love, happiness, smiles. It's about fashion, food, and entertainment, basically. Yeah, what it is.
All right, and then when is it happening?
It is happening on the 18th of April, but we have a lot of different activities leading up to Fashion Coda.
Of course. And then, of course, one of the things that you're involved in as part of that has to do with the vendors and so on. So tell me a little bit about that.
World-renowned Don Grand's Fashion Coda, for the past years, we celebrate the rich tapestry of artisans through their work. Yeah, the rich culture heritage of artisans through their work. That is what we do at Fashion Coda. For the past years, we made it our priority to support them in order to preserve their traditional crafts. Yeah, it helps them to enhance networking, building relationships, and also to create and to help them to find new passion and interests. Yeah, so that is just basically what we do and happens with the artisan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a display?
Yeah, well, we have what you call pop-up shop. Mm-hmm. You could say pop-up shop, or let us just say pop-up shop. We have pop-up shops. So it's a space that we provide for them so that they could sell their exclusive products the night of the show. However, we give them the opportunity to be at Magdalena leading up to the show. So they have, from tomorrow, artisans will be there from 4 o'clock. And all the other days until the 20th, which is after the show. So they'll be there the week leading up to the show, the night of the show, and the weekend after the show. So this ends on the 20th of April.
Okay, great. And then, of course, Ms. Stewart, is going to be one of the vendors, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your business? What are you hoping to sell to the public?
Okay, so good morning again. Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Denzi Stewart. I am a chef. I'm the owner and founder of Eel Picks Limited. We produce all natural vinaigrette salad dressings. So we have 2 flavors, which is the tropical fusion and the citrus bliss. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to be a part of Fashion Coda, for the platform, and to be able to, market our product. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward for the exposure and to interact and to meet new people, also to introduce our dressings to them as well. It's an all-natural vinaigrette.
Yes, I wanted to get into exactly, what's so special about the dressings and stuff that you have.
It's all-natural. It's a premium salad dressing, right? It's made right here, crafted right here and in Tobago. We using our local fruits. We try to utilize the mangoes, the papaya, passion fruit, so it's more of a tropical salad dressing. It's more tropical. We try to bring out the tropics in the salad dressing, basically.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit, Mr. Gans, about some of the other vendors that we will have at the pop-up shop.
Oh, so you will have people selling things like accessories, exclusive dresses, suits, we even sandals, slippers here, because to be at Fashion Coda this year especially, there's no way you could wear high heel shoes. You must get a sexy sandals, a sexy slippers to be in that great space that we have for you all to entertain yourselves and have some fun. It's a generous space. It's on the lawn, so there's no way that you could wear high-heel shoes. So you must meet the artisans in there to get your sandals and your slippers, everything flat.
And of course, these are all made by Tobago's crafters.
Tobago crafters and Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah, Tobago crafters and Trinidad. And of course, when you visit the booths, you gain, or pop-up shop, you gain fresh, new insights. Yeah, of what Coda is really about. Yeah, it's really a joy to be there. It's love, it's peace, it's happiness. You know, it's a time to trigger and release your dopamine with styles and texture and color and fashion. I mean, come out and have fun, do something for yourself, yeah, because this is the return of Coda, and everybody should be there. Everyone should be there.
Why is it so important that people come out and support, especially our local fashion industry?
I believe that people looking for something, and we have a lot of improvement, because over the years to now, the fashion grow in Tobago, even at the heritage shows. All the events, the costumes are different, the gowns are different. So that's what Fashion Coda did. And now people are curious because they want to see more. They want to meet the designers. They want, for when it's graduation, they are able to contact a designer. They want to meet people, and that is what networking is about. Yeah, meeting people, knowing them. Yeah, and all designers are ready for that. They are ready to meet the people. Like, for instance, my daughter, Ocean Mills, she will actually take your measurement now and send it to designers, and they make your clothes and send it for you. You know, so that is the excitement that Fashion Coda brings out.
Okay, great. Now, we're not quite done with this conversation. We got a little bit more to bring out to you about Fashion Coda. So we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more right after this.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new...
Yeah! Tobago, get ready. Stephen Marley is on his way.
From jungle to Rima, me. If a little matches, you.
The Rhythm and Soul Festival introduces the son of the legend, the one and only Stephen Marley. Experience the Marley Dynasty live at the Dwight York Stadium at Fusion, Easter Sunday, April 20th. The Kings reunite on one stage. Stephen Marley.
Yeah, baby, don't worry, here we go.
Graham Smogan.
Have I told you? Have I shown you?
Wayne Wonder.
Got somebody, she is a beauty.
Cats the Band, and many more.
This song she made.
Tickets are going fast. Follow Tobago Festivals on Facebook and Instagram. Or call 639-4441 for more info. Fusion, April 20th at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium. The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Welcome to the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms and soulful music as the sun dips behind Buku Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Coda, Brian McKnight,
It's undeniable that we should be together.
Bonnet Bigford,
When the lightning crack the waters and the waves roll and break.
Mikal Teja,
Without you, my God.
and the best of Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning about Fashion Coda 7. Yes, Fashion Coda is back in Tobago after being off for a few years, but that's okay. There's a lot happening in the fashion space and a lot more to discover. And joining me here are two of the people that would be featured both at some of the pop-up market that's going to be happening as well as on the runway. So first of all, we have Mr. Bryce Catterson, and then next to him we have Miss Claudette Daniel. So good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning.
I'm going to start with Mr. Catterson first. So obviously you're very young, and I see you're wearing a specific t-shirt and you have one with you. So I'm guessing, you're about the t-shirt game. So tell me about yourself. Tell me about just that part of the fashion that you're into.
Okay, well, first, I am 17 years of age. I attend Signal Hill Secondary School. I got into fashion probably about 2 years back. And specifically graphic design, graphic t-shirts. I like to be able to have ideas and have them printed out. And that's how I got into this.
And how has it been? And you could, hold up some of your designs to show, just what you've been doing.
Well, this t-shirt here is to be released next week, Saturday. And it's part of a drop of 6 different t-shirts, all around the underground kind of culture, different styles of graphic design, also different printing methods. This t-shirt I have on was inspired by a music video actually, and I listened to the lyrics and had a concept in my mind and made it happen.
And so, of course, you're going to be out there full with your whole line of t-shirts and so on. Will you also be featured on the runway?
I'm not too sure yet, but if the opportunity presents itself, I'm always there.
And then Miss Danielle, so you are into leather crafts. Tell me about yourself.
The Master Cobbler is actually a household name in Tobago. So we are known not previously, but we still do it. We do shoe repair. But we have diversified. This is the 4th generation that we have diversified into actually doing manufacturing. We manufacture belts, leather sandals, handbags, belts, clutch purses, wallets. And we're mostly known for our sexy leather sandals, as they call them.
Certainly. I mean, and then, just tell me a little bit more about the line. So, like say, you have the purses and so on, but you're not just doing with leather, you're experimenting with color and all of that too.
Yes. We, for 2025, we have actually been in the line of trying to do new colors. We have instilled colors such like different shades of yellow, different shades of olive green, different shades of greens. So not just the colors we're trying to play with, we're also trying to play with different styles. But the ladies like less is more, so it's more like naked sandals.
And what's been the reception since you guys have come out? Because I've watched you grow from just literally being that shoe repair that used to be in Scarborough and so on, but you've grown so much since. How has that been?
Actually, last year we put out 2 different branches in Trinidad, but the year before we did 1 branch. So in total, we have 3 branches in Trinidad. It's in Port of Spain. It's in Cipriani Boulevard in Port of Spain, opposite Jenny's. It's also in Grand Bazaar, and we're also in Arima. And then there's the flagship that's in Tobago.
Right. And tell me about that reception.
It's been so overwhelming that actually we have been granted an opportunity to actually go international with the product. So it's not just local, it's been accepting us, it's regional as well as international. So in the future, we are hoping to not just sell to Trinidad and Tobago, not just to the region, but also to the world, putting Tobago on the map in this field, which is manufacturing sandals.
And then you guys are going to be featured, both of you actually are going to be featured in Fashion Coda. Tell me about just being able to be on board with a project such as that. I'm going to start with you, Miss Daniel, and then Mr. Catterson.
Tell me, what's the question?
Being on board with Fashion Coda and just being part of that lineup.
Fashion Coda for me is the first time this year. I actually heard about it, well, from Mr. Grant himself. He's a constant shoe repair customer in our business, and he told me about it. And I got on board knowing that the kind of avenues it could take us. We have been trying. We have been in contact with some of the designers on the runway. Let them know it's a holistic Caribbean feel that we want to have from head to foot, because sometimes on the runway we do a lot of red bottom shoes, but in the Caribbean we want to keep it a kind of a Caribbean color. So we have all types, all colors, all shapes and sizes ranging from 4 to 14. So it's kind of an opportunity for us to show and spread our wings a little bit on the runway.
And Mr. Catterson, what has it been like, just to be able to be incorporated into Fashion Coda, something as big as this, where you're meeting people like Ecliffe, Eli, and so on that have, sort of paved the way for fashion in Trinidad and Tobago and the world?
This is my first year being introduced to Fashion Coda. I was introduced to Miss Ligans at a event that we had at Coda in Signal Hill, And I want to thank her for the opportunity, for introducing me to Fashion Coda, for allowing me to participate. This is a very good opportunity, being able to see how things are being done professionally, and can help me with connections, allowing me to see different aspects of the design and fashion business.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And of course, you are planning to take over the t-shirt game.
Planning to, yes.
Great. And we're certainly looking forward for that. And if you want to know more about Mr. Catterson, if you want to get some of his designs, I am going to say, make sure you go to the pop-up shops. And of course, give us an idea of, you know, when the pop-up shops are going to be open again and how people can reach out to you guys to make sure that they could be part of this fashion revolution that's happening.
Well, the fashion show should be next week, Saturday, and next week, Friday, on the 18th. But you can purchase my designs on Instagram, through Instagram at covert.culture, covert.culture, or you can message me on WhatsApp at 287-5403.
Right, and Miss Danielle?
We can be reached on Instagram and Facebook, the Master Cobbler, or actually the retail arm of our product is in Mateo's store, which is Mateo_TT Mateos _store.TT on Instagram.
All right, great. So viewers, if you want to know more, if you want to view more, and of course, if you want to see their designs paired with other local designs, check out Fashion Coda 7 coming up in just a bit. So thank you both so much for being on with us and for sharing what you guys have been doing.
Thanks.
Wish you all best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there at Fashion Coda 7.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, and that's how we're going to wrap the show this morning. I want to thank you so much for being here with us. I am Candice Jackson, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Lights, camera, fashion. Tobago Fashion Coda returns with the Gala. Featuring icons of Caribbean couture, Claudia Pecos, CLD, Eclipse Eli, Fluorescent Black, Neha Karina, and other leading and emerging designers. This quintessential fashion extravaganza blends high fashion with culinary artistry and star-studded entertainment. A true celebration of creativity, culture, and sophistication. Friday, April 18th, Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort. Tobago Fashion Coda 7.